Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today I have with me the Director of Education and Training at the Gun Owners Action League.
Woohoo.
He is my personal gun guru. Whenever I have questions, I call him up. Dr. Jon Green.
Charlie Cook, I get to do this.
Oh!
Because we're close, we're brothers.
Yeah,
brothers.
we are.
Charlie, you've done amazing things, and honest to goodness, you know, we'll
some
have
of them we
fun
can tell
and
people.
some chuckles, but I want you to know I'm very proud of you, and I appreciate from the bottom of, good on my side, appreciate from the bottom of my heart what you do for my civil rights, and I don't pass that around very often, but you're one of the great ones, and we're lucky you're on our side.
I'm honored,
Yeah.
man. I really am, because it's all your fault that I'm doing any of this stuff.
Yeah? How many years ago?
And so
I guess
it was
2008.
It was 2000. No, it was 2008, 2002.
Holy, wow.
Moly.
Straight across.
All right. 2002 is when I took a
online.
class. I took a class in Shrewsbury to get my gun license, and it was a 4-hour class. Anti-gun chief of police, and he said,
Can we use names?
"Yeah,
Not
he's
protect the innocent?
No,
Chief Sampson?
yeah,
We have some stories about him.
I'm
Way
sure.
back, I grew up in Shrewsbury and known Wayne all of my teenage years.
all of your teenagers."
But as Mom
that's-
said, if you don't have something nice to say about somebody, so
How about those Red Sox? Take them right.
take it right.
So my first ex-wife and I went to
First
my
ex-wife?
first ex-wife. That's how I phrase it. My first ex-wife. So we went to take a class. It was 3.5 hours of legal mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
They held up a revolver and a semi-auto, and they said, "Here's a revolver. Here's a semi-auto. Don't touch them."
Did they clear it with anybody? Show the unloaded gun to anybody?
I don't even remember. I don't even remember. But I think I knew less about guns than when I went in.
Mhm.
And I got my license and became a card carrying. I was already an NRA member. Got my license. Got our license to carry Class A with a restriction, because that's what all.
Right, Shrewsbury was.
Yep, that's all he gave. And then that September, August or September, is when I signed up for a class at the Gun Owners Action League, and I got to meet you.
We hit it off pretty well.
Oh my gosh, it was great. It was great. I remember going to the range and shooting for the first time, and I'm like, does anyone else know about this? Like, this
People
is-
learn by doing, right?
This is pretty cool.
Learn by doing. Involve the senses in the learning process. But back to Shrewsbury. So I grew up in Shrewsbury.
Right.
Grew up elementary school, secondary, high school, best friend's family still there. And when Lori and I were looking for a home to buy after we had Jacob, we looked at Shrewsbury and we stopped looking once we were confirmed Sampson's issuing policy. You know,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
That fact, that lack of respect for my civil rights caused me not to be able to move back
live in
into
that
the
town.
town that I grew up in. And I've always, it's insulting, right? It's insulting.
It completely is. It completely is. When so I
Gotta bear off to the left.
all right. So we lived in that town before I got into gun stuff, and
It used to be a phenomenal town, yeah. Still is. I mean, I'm talking with gun policy.
right.
So it was a phenomenal town. Then Chief Sampson took the helm and became not a good town. Not a good town for people that
for gun owners, yeah.
for gun owners that like to utilize their civil rights. And then when he was forced out by the patrolmen,
He was forced out.
yeah, exactly.
That doesn't
yeah,
sound
vote of no confidence, I believe.
Wow.
But you know what? Wayne's a gentleman, and I say that because he is and he was. But just as far as the Second Amendment right, no, only cops should have guns, and I don't even think he thought that
I spent one summer as an armored truck driver.
Did you
When I lived in Shrewsbury? Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that about you.
No, the place that's just past the Worcester Club.
Yeah.
Is there's a place, or just before the Worcester Club, after, I don't know, I can't remember.
Just after.
Yeah, it's on the left, and I got a job, and my first ex-wife told me, summer's up, you're a teacher, you need to get a job, you need some income. So I'm going through the paper. This is a long time ago. So I'm going through the newspaper, and I'm like, well, I have a license to carry, and I have a clean driving record. The only thing I can do is drive an armored truck. I didn't even have a gun. That's how early it was. And I had to get a letter.
We consulted with them.
Did you?
Yeah, they all these companies call Goal looking for information on, training and gun laws and things like that. So we've spoken to thousands of different organizations and whatnot. Gonna bang a quick left, and then just after the CVS parking lot, there's the drive-through.
Gotcha. So I had to get a letter since I needed to carry a gun for work. I had to get a letter from them saying I needed to carry a gun for work, and then I had to get a letter from Samson saying I could carry while I'm at work. And I had to carry these in my lunchbox. It's ridiculous. All right, let's cut this guy off. All right. So how do you like your coffee?
Free.
I know, right? The price
No, I'm
is
buying.
right.
I'm buying. Let me get a medium. Can I get a medium hot coffee, extra milk, and a ham, egg, and cheese wake-up wrap, please?
Extra milk and a ham, egg, and cheese wake-up wrap.
Yeah, kosher.
Can I get a small black coffee with a couple sugars?
Small hot coffee, black, couple sugar.
Yes.
These are computers today.
That's gonna do it.
Have a great day. Thank you.
What did he say?
He's wishing us well.
Oh, brother. I wish he gets the order right.
Yeah, they're awesome
You weren't even finished talking, and he's spouting your order back to you. Like you're still talking.
Maybe you should get a job as an armored car driver. Yeah, this one's on me.
Oh, you're the man.
Dinner's
Thank
on you.
Wait a second. This is how Jewish you are. I'll buy the coffee, you buy dinner. Right. Hi, how are you? Thank you.
Small?
All right. I just got a small, man. I already had 3 coffees this morning.
Dude, so you drink a lot of coffee?
No, I only have a couple. Couple a day.
A couple of big ones, or
thank you.
make sure you throw a quarterback.
Quarterback. Awesome. Here you go. He says I have to do this. Thank you. Coffee for you. Dynamite. Thanks.
Thank you.
She was kind of cute.
Always.
What country
And
do you
did
think she's
you?
from?
I have a story about that too.
Oh,
I do. I have a story about that.
All right, take a left.
How about take a left?
Woo!
Yeah, this guy's gonna
Good thing we didn't get that.
wipe the gook out of your eyes, buddy.
Right. He needs a coffee before he leaves.
All right, we're good on my side. Are we good on yours?
We are.
Okay, so talking about Dunkin Donuts.
Yes.
I'm gonna use fictitious names to protect the innocent. Also, I can't pronounce the name, so we've got that going for us. So Goal has done the staff training for car arms and auto ordnance for a lot of years. They would make a new hire for whatever position at the shop, and they would send them to Goal for their firearms training. And after working with these people for a lot of years, start to become a little bit friendly, and a lot of the hires were former military in Europe. Right?
Ah.
So we bring them out to the line, and you just see them go right back to their military training. I mean, think of it, a lot of them saw military action.
Sure, this is what you refer to.
So the funny part of the story is we stopped by Dunkin Donuts on the way back from the range, because we don't try to get caffeinated before live fire, caffeinated after live fire, right? So
you got to clean the guns.
I pull up to the window. I have 3 or 4 folks from car arms in the back seat. And like, folks, it's on me. I'm gonna just tell the nice lady what you want, and they start talking in their native language, and I go to hand the money, and no, wouldn't take the money. Come to find out, the guy in the back seat, it was his wife working the Dunkin Donuts window. I won't say what Dunkin Donuts either. It's the one close to WPR Club, but we won't name it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so you never know, right? You never know in this business. You find out, you never know who knows
Who
the
knows
people that are in your circle.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
All right, so how did you get into shooting? You've been into it for a long time, and we were talking a while ago, talking about all the people that are instructors, especially here in Massachusetts, that have gone through you.
Yeah,
which kind of makes you feel like an old man.
Really?
But you don't look like
50 years old. 50 years old. Feel like I'm mentally, right? Like I'm 18, 22.
Don't look a day over 49.
Thank you. You're awesome. You should have bought the coffee.
I know,
Go straight.
right? All right.
Straight here. So you ask, how did I get involved? I was always into the mechanical aspects of items: dirt bikes, bicycles, firearms. Didn't grow up in a gun-owning family. My grandparents were in the bar business. My father was in the bar business. Always had a 38 in the drawer in the office, but I don't think they've ever used it. Ever used it. So awesome parents. I'm knock on wood every day. I have the greatest parents in the world, and. He said, okay, if you're into this, then what classes do you have to take? So I did a little shooting and scouts, and then I took the hunter education course, which was cool. Do you remember Werner Tesnow from the Outdoorsman in Boylston?
I do not.
So right where we just bought our coffee, in that very same strip plaza, was the Outdoorsman. It was across the street from that years before, and he was my hunter education instructor, and Werner been a long time gun owner and hunter and FFL. Yeah, just
Go this way.
Go this way.
All right.
So he was my hunter ed instructor. Later on in life, we became very good friends. He was a mentor of mine, member of the Worcester Pistol and Rifle Club. So, anyways, got me on the correct path, and we used to. My friends from Shrewsbury, we would go shooting at the Worcester Pistol and Rifle Club on a Sunday, and boyfriends, girlfriends. We'd bring the guns back to Shrewsbury, right? We'd grab our brothers and sisters' driver's license, and we'd go to the local Chinese restaurant and drink Mai Tais and scorpion balls for the rest of the Sunday. Always that's what we did. We had a great time doing it, so nothing but great memories. And then went off to vocational school after high school. Why don't you bang a
Take a left.
Left here. Vocational school after high school for diesel mechanics. Brought me out to Cleveland, and lived right in Cleveland, so wasn't much time or places I could shoot. So I left the guns at home back in Shrewsbury, and left diesel school after a year. Got in an argument with the president because I was tending bar. He says, "You're not old enough to tend bar." He said, "Not old enough to drink, but I'm old enough to tend bar."
Right.
So the guy was a real prick, It was unfortunate because I was doing very well in school, and I really liked the instructors, but the management was terrible. So left that, moved back to Massachusetts, and went to Mass Bay, and immediately got right back into shooting. Cool. And finished up my associates in Associates of Science degree out of Mass Bay, and ended up moving out to Utah for about 10 years to finish up my bachelor's degree at Weber University, and got back into shooting heavily when I was in Utah, because Utah, right?
It's free America out there.
LDS, they had guns and food, and
seven wives.
The only thing I couldn't do was tell too many people I was Jewish, right? I think I was the first Jewish guy that ever moved into the Salt Lake Valley, but met some awesome people I still keep in touch with, and get out and hunt and shoot with them every couple of years when we go out to recertify, teach the Utah class.
Very cool.
So I remember this is a very, very important point in my career, and my technical sales professor, who was awesome, he used to play the guitar in class every day, says, I'm going to hand out a sheet of paper, and I want you to write down where you want to be in 5 years. And I wrote, I want to be in the firearms industry. So stayed in Utah for about 10 years, came home, helped my dad get a business off the ground, and then worked for Lou Horton Firearm Distributors. I was a sales rep, right? So it was really cool. I would sell guns to the gun shop that I used to frequent in Ogden, Utah. And we'll talk about Kent's Viking Gun Shop, greatest gun shop there ever was. Cool. So worked for Lou Horton's for almost a year. During that time, Tom LaRoche from the Worcester Pistol and Rifle Club, who's a gold board member.
Oh my God, how's he
says Tom's good. Tom's doing really well. Him and Ann and their daughter, just great people. Tom says, hey, listen, they're looking for a media person at Goal. why don't you apply for it? And I was a Goal member, I was a Worcester Club member.
Yeah.
And so I called up and
Take a right.
Let's go right. We'll go up through Mount Wachusett and whatnot.
Cool.
So I call up, I speak with Nancy Snow. I said, I'd like to come in and speak with you. I knew nothing about, media.
Right.
I was an automotive technician major. That's what I went to school for. But I had the personality, the love of guns, and the love of our constitutional rights. Great men and women have died so that we have a choice. It would be disrespectful not to honor that sacrifice.
Absolutely.
So went in, sat down with Mike Yacino, and I thought things went well, and never heard from him. Almost a year later, as it was coming up on my anniversary at Lou Horton's, I got a call from Nancy Snow, who's a former chief of staff, and she says, Mr. Yacino would like you to come in and talk with him. A week later, I was working for Goal full-time, and I'm honored to say that this week is my 20th anniversary with Goal. I've had
20 years.
20 years with gun owners,
God
actually.
bless you, man. That's amazing. That's awesome.
Because of Goal, I met you.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Betancourt, Folo, half the people that have been in this car,
some of the people
probably more than half of the people that I've interacted with over the years, serving on the NSSF Range Advisory Committee and doing some focus group work with the NRA. Phenomenal career.
This is totally unrelated to everything, but I remember
that would have been awesome.
To plow right into the student driver.
We call that a teachable moment.
Exactly. I always tell people when they're doing gun stuff in a gun class and they screw something up, I say, hey, listen, you're doing a great. Hold on, you're doing a great job being a bad example.
There's like, is that good? They don't know how to take that.
You can't say anything bad about people, so you're doing a great job being a bad example.
Folo pulls stuff like that too. He's got some zingers. He's got some zingers.
I just lost my train of thought what I was going to say. But,
yeah, so we were talking about that. So, yeah, originally with Goal, I was hired to increase the number of small bore shooters in the state. Goal was very successful at that. Yeah. And we had a number of teams go out. We have a number of athletes that have made it to the Olympics, and that's a real honor. That's incredible. A real honor. Yeah. But my thing is, I don't want to make Olympians, I want to make shooters, because shooters that have that drive will make themselves into Olympians.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
Let's get as many people pressing the trigger as possible. We start them out with a rimfire 22 caliber pistol or rifle or both, and always progress from the easy to the more complex.
Yeah. Cool, man. Very cool.
So that's it. That's 20 years now.
When did you, so what kind of qualifications do you have other than you're a gun guy that loves shooting? Like because now you're certified to teach a boatload of the NRA classes, you're a training counselor.
We create a lot of our own curriculum at Goal, right? A lot of our own classes.
I was in the very first Art of Concealed Carry classes you guys did.
With Darius Arbabi.
Darius, yes.
Yeah, thank God we had Darius there, huh?
God rest his soul. Yeah.
Boy, it's morphed. I promise you it's gotten better. Right? It's gotten better.
Oh, that's great.
So certifications, I started, the job with the same quals that you had, right? I had an LTC, and I had taken a hunter education course, 10 years, 15 years earlier. And then I went into the rabbit hole of certifications, and I have a lot of certifications. I try to train at least 100 hours a year as a student, and then you always learn as an instructor.
Oh yeah,
right? Always learn as an instructor. If you're not learning as an instructor, then please do us all a favor, stop instructing. Right? So, but all the NRA disciplines minus reloading and black powder. And I reload, and I love black powder. But you know what? It's about integrity. People can smell bullshit if you're trying to teach something that you don't know. They know it. They know it.
Absolutely.
And why would you want to do that to your student? Why would you want to do that to yourself? So, take classes, do more of that. I would like to become a hunter ed instructor. I do a lot of hunting now. I think I'm at the point where I have made enough mistakes Right? Because that's what we try to do as humans.
Right.
It's okay to make a mistake, but what makes us great is we try not to repeat the same mistake twice.
You got it. Either you
And
succeed
what
or
makes
you
for a
learn.
great trainer? Learn by my mistakes. One of the things.
Great job
One
being
of
a
the
bad
things.
example.
Yes, very true. Yeah, very true.
My, I went through a hunting thing for a little bit, and I took the Hunter Ed class. My big takeaway from Hunter Ed was learning how to start a fire with steel wool and a 9-volt. Not that I didn't know the other information, but I'm like, that's what I remember the most. And
Did they actually do that in class? Did they start a fire?
I think they did.
Think of what a great visual exercise that is.
It was. I went home and my son was a Cub Scout, and I'm like, hey guys, you guys want to see something cool? Right?
Do you burn propellant in your classes?
I don't. I have a couple videos where I burn some propellant in classes. If I take someone to the range and we talk about just like, dude, I'm such a carbon copy of everything I've still borrowed from you.
That's we call it Robin Hooding, right?
Exactly. And
You steal from me, I steal from you.
Best practices.
At the end of the day, it all works out.
It, right? But I've got a video where I've got 2 videos where I burn powder. One of them I got. I was at a work party at the Worcester Club, and I had a bag with me that had a bullet puller in it. And they're like, all right, we need someone to go through all the dummy rounds, or not the dummy rounds, the misfires and stuff. So the dud box. So I went through this, and I'm like, well, what are we gonna do with these? I'm like, oh, you guys don't know? This is great. Take out the bullet puller, whack the bullet out.
Back it up.
Totally. I got all the gunpowder together. I went outside. I filmed me burning it. And we got some more. Went out and filmed that. I think I did that like 11 times.
I did that in my training counselor workshop, and Cynthia Julian was my training counselor trainer, and no live ammunition, right? How many times? No live ammunition in the class. And absolute great rule, no live ammunition in the class. But I'm trying to, utilize the senses in the learning process, right? Yeah. So I walk in, I have back then, ashtrays all over the place at gun clubs. So I had the knife, shot shells, cut open a couple of shot shells, dump the powder in, bring it into class. It's my job to convey ammunition and ammunition components. So I torched that, and the look on her face, the words, Mr. Green, what don't you understand about no live ammunition in the class? I thought I was going to fail. I would have been heartbroken because I love what I do. I love what I do. So no live ammunition in a classroom, but perfectly appropriate to do on the range, right? And I think you should.
After you burn the gunpowder, it's not live ammunition anymore.
That's correct. That's correct.
It's just that ammunition
moment just before.
When you take the cartridge out, it's live ammo. When you open up the shotgun shell and dump the shells out, it's just ammunition components.
It's a component. So I love doing that. Modern ammunition. Nothing explodes with modern ammunition. It's all about burning.
Propellant.
So we've done a ton of college gigs over the gig. That's one of your words.
Right.
So we've done a ton of college gigs over the years. I remember I down at Braintree, and I think it was the Federalist Society from BU or BC. Shame on me for not remembering.
That's all right.
A group of college kids. So I'm in the hall at Braintree, and I bet you if there are 4 grains of propellant in a 9mm cartridge, typically 4 grains of propellant, I bet you I had 40 grains of propellant in this. So think of that. That's enough to drive a 9mm bullet at how many feet per second theoretically. So anyways, I said, does anybody want to light this up? The kid was once removed from a family of apes. The hair on this kid's arm was just the thickest I've ever seen on a human being. So gosh. So he lights the Petri dish. He's holding it like this and down, right? So here's the Petri dish. He's holding it down. He lights it, and all you could smell was human hair burning. This is a co-ed class, and you could see him starting to well up because he burned himself.
Oh my God.
And it smelled, and I know it hurt him. And so my takeaway, my teachable moment for myself was, don't go over 20 grains of propellant.
Mental note.
Yeah, mental note.
Don't go over 20 grains.
Mental note. So Like I said, try not to repeat the same mistakes twice.
Exactly. Very cool, man. How many classes have you guys added to the goal stuff? There's. It always seems like there's classes. I mean, you bring in other instructors. I know you bring in Rob Pincus, and you bring in.
Yeah, I talked with Rob yesterday on the way home from from New Hampshire last night.
Very cool.
Talked with Rob about a half hour, and I just have the greatest respect for Rob, and he's a good friend. He's a close friend. I wish we saw each other more often. And he thinks very, very highly of goal. And he'll call. If we harvest something out in the field, I got a text from him. Hey, I'm here, and look what I just shot.
Very cool.
Yeah. So Rob's coming out in September for 4 days. Does a lot of fundraising for goal over those 4 days.
Awesome.
So yes, we have the Pincus classes. And we have, I'm excited, Scott Germain, our Sergeant Major retired, Green Beret, has done our progressive carbine classes. And he's just such a good human, such a patriot. I've rekindled a relationship with another retired Special Forces member, John Peterson. And met John at Smith & Wesson, gosh, way before I ever worked for Goal. Took a class up at Smith. John was one of the first Academy members there, and then moved on to SIG. And John has done some amazing work, sacrificed amazing portions of his life so that we may, live the life that we live now, right? So just a true hero. Those Special Forces guys, they're something else. So anyways, John has done some classes for us. We're going back about 10 years, maybe more, and then he was off doing work for the United States government. And now he's back. He's writing. He's working for many different magazines, and he's going to do some lecture series on his experiences in Afghanistan and Iraq. And then we're
amazing.
looking to see if he can do some long-range rifle work and pistol work. Alex Hartman from Ridgeline, one of the coolest people I've ever met, Marine Corps Scout Sniper. And he's done long-range work. One of the finest instructors I've ever worked with for long range. You meet these people. We've had coach trainers in from OTC, Olympic Training Center. Some of the former trainers at NRA, just amazing guys and gals. So, what's new on the course lineup? So we have our Art of Concealed Carry continues to morph as we add new product, and Lisa Steele's always adding new slides to her show presentation. We're fortunate to get her after Darius had passed.
Man. I did add in my Utah class. I added the dancing FBI officer.
Isn't that great?
It is. It's very cool.
Just God forbid that was one of us.
Oh my God! Absolutely, absolutely.
I get so angry at that. Equal justice under the law, my ass, right? So
I told one of my holster buddies, Keyhole Holsters, Mitch, God bless him.
Yeah. Good stuff. I using your holsters in our Art of Concealed Carry class, so thank you very much for that.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
awesome,
he did some awesome stuff at the Concealed Carry Fashion Show that I wasn't able to attend.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Everyone wanted to see you model, right? Everyone wanted to see you modeling stuff, but we had to deal with Folo instead. So anyway, Mitch, I sent, when that video came out, I sent an email to Mitch. I'm like, hey, Mitch, you need to take this and put your logo on it and say, you know what? This guy was not using a keyhole holster.
and has he made hay with that?
No, he hasn't. But you know, he's like, listen, man, he's a great guy. He's like, he just does his stuff. He's like, here's my product. If you like it, great. If you don't, great. If you buy it, wonderful. If you don't, that's okay. I'll go to the next guy. But I'm like, yeah, you gotta come up with a story, man. You know, get people, you know, not get them hooked in a little.
I've been in the gun business had an FFL. Now I'm the responsible party for the Goals FFL. We sold years ago a lot of guns on Gunbroker, you know, thousands of guns on Gunbroker. And if you had a gun and no story, it was worth this much. But if you had a gun with a story, raise that price. Always. So stories are important. Stories are important.
Oh man, I want to say I sat with Mike Sweat at the Worcester Club one time, and he pulled some gun out. He's like, "You see this gun? You see these 4 hash marks right here? What do you think this means?" I don't know.
I bet you I know the gun you're talking about too. Oh my
Probably.
God! Now you talk about just one of Earth's greatest gifts to humankind.
Oh my gosh!
Sweat's an amazing guy. He, over the years, when we're involved with all the juniors, he'd drop by a case of 308 and be like, "Don't tell anybody where this came from." Right? So just a giver, real giver.
Absolutely,
a real giver.
Absolutely. When my guns were stolen in 2017,
a story I have told more than you.
Dude,
more than you.
So all right, so I got to tell you this. So one of the guys that teaches the Bill Hardell. Bill Hardell's a great guy.
Close friend.
Yeah.
Close friend.
I went into the Worcester Club one time, and Bill was teaching a class. And so I saw the door was open, so I went upstairs to see what's going on, just to say hi. And he's like, "Hey, that guy that I was just talking about, this is him."
Hawk. See the hawk? Right up there. Beautiful hawk.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Deaf as a fart, but boy, I'm good at picking the things out that are moving.
Yeah, eyes are good.
Moving in the woods. No, they're terrible. I have contacts in now, but
oh, man.
That movement in the woods.
That's all right.
What?
Exactly.
So Bill Hardell.
So Bill Hardell's teaching a class. I went in and interrupted it, and he's like, "Hey, that guy who had his gun stolen because he went to the bathroom. This is him."
You went to the bathroom? That's when they
That's
stole
what
the
it
gun?
was. I stopped at the bathroom, then I went to pick up my suitcase.
But you were just
I just
deplaned.
landed.
Yeah,
I just
deplaned.
landed.
Okay.
I go. I stop at the bathroom, get my suitcase. Gone.
That sucks. I tell that story in all my classes. I use it as a math question, right? Because in Massachusetts, if you acquire a gun, you have to report that to Firearms Record Bureau.
Yep.
If you sell a gun, except through a dealer, if you sell a gun through a dealer or transfer a gun through a dealer, you do not need to notify Firearms Record Bureau. That's the one exemption under Chapter 140, Section 128A. So anyways, if you buy a gun, you have to tell the Firearms Record Bureau in writing on the new online gun portal. If you sell a gun, if you dispose of a gun, if a gun's stolen, you have to report all that.
Mm-hmm.
So you had 4 guns stolen.
4 guns that were stolen. I got 3 of them back 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I sent in, and I did everyone return receipt requested.
Good.
It cost me $6, I think. Return receipt requested, certified mail for each one of them.
For each gun.
Yeah. So it cost me $24 to let the state know that my guns were stolen. And 2 weeks later,
Now think of that. I have to pay money to tell the state that my guns have been stolen. What other item that you can think of do you have to pay money?
Nothing at all.
That's ridiculous.
Then 2 weeks later, I got 3 of them back. Okay. So I had to send them $18, or I had to spend $18 to let them know I got my guns back. Okay. And then another $6 or so, whatever it is, when I finally got the 4th one back.
The 4th gun back. So when we relay this in our classes, right? Charlie had 4 guns stolen. Charlie was unbelievably fortunate to get these 4 guns back. And I tell him, this was the connection between you and your dad, and
Yeah, the only gun that I wanted to get, the rest of them would be fine. I could deal without. The one that I can't replace, it was my father's Browning 22 semi-auto Challenger.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that gun. I remember the day you brought all those guns into goal. Saying, "I want you to look at these."
Yeah. You tried breaking my grandpa's shotgun apart.
Yeah. Disassembling it, I think, is the
Sorry, right. Anyway, so Mike Sweat. So he called me in after my stuff was stolen. He's like, "Hey, I heard you had all your crap stolen." Yeah, I lost some guns and a couple of pocket knives. All right, well, listen. I don't think you're horrible.
He says, "I don't think you're horrible."
Yeah, he might have said something like that.
I don't think you're horrible.
But anyway, so
what the hell does that mean? I'll have to ask
the
him.
way Mike says.
I'd call him right now, but we'd be on the phone for an hour and a half.
Oh my God, totally.
Yeah.
So he pulls out this knife. It's made by Camillus, and it has a little lever on it that you flip to make it open. And he says, "Listen, I got this knife and I hate it. I'm going to give it to you." All right, thanks. Anyway, listen, we need to wrap things up, Dr. Green. It has been a pleasure. We need to do this again sometime.
What if I say no? I'm not ready to stop. Okay. Have you ever had somebody say refused?
I refuse to stop.
Get into Mortal Kombat as you try to shut the cameras off?
No. Well, there's the first time for everything.
Well, it won't. Today won't be the first time. It won't be the first time.
Awesome.
But again, what you do for us is amazing. And when I check out Facebook and the Instagram, and you're down in Washington, or you're doing something with the Second Amendment Foundation, Charlie, God bless your brother. Keep doing it.
I love it, man.
You're making my job easier, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dr. Green, thank you so much. We're going to have you on again.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Gun Owners Action League.
Yeah, gold.org.
Gold.org. What's your email if people want to email you?
Yeah, if you want to email me, my email, jon@gold.org. So,
all right,
Juliet, Oscar, November, at Golf, Oscar, Alpha, Lima.org.
There we go. Yeah. There we go.
Well done.
All right. You guys should check out the Self-Defense Radio Network. It is all of your pro-freedom podcasts in one place. I think I finally got that right. And please like and subscribe and share all the Riding Shotgun with Charlie stuff, and we will see you guys the next time. Well, thanks a lot.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd, reminding you that we and the show you're watching are proud members of the Self-Defense Radio Network.
Find out more and check out all of the great shows and content at selfdefenseradio.net.